Welcome back, Keepers. You are listening to another episode of Keeping It
They
Real.
could be watching.
Or watching another episode of Keeping It Real with Jac and Raoul. I'm Gabrielle Dolan and I'm sitting next to the lovely Jac Phillips.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you, Raoul. You're lovely too.
You are lovely. It's spring.
It is spring. How good
If
spring.
anyone's watching us, if you'd like to come and have a look, we are literally surrounded by about 27,000 indoor plants from Jac's place. But
Love
I
plants.
feel like I'm in the forest.
Good.
Hey, a couple of weeks ago, we did a session on what is inspiring me, and we promised to do one on what is inspiring you.
Everything.
So today is all about this podcast episode, what is inspiring Jac.
Yay.
And as usual, we sort of break it up into four. We talk about people, health and well-being, pop culture, stuff that's going on, and work. So
Yeah. Good
Let's
categories,
start.
right? Hey, you just made me think of something when you said you're, surrounded by all these plants. It's like a forest. One of the things that's inspiring me that I just read recently, which I hadn't even thought about until you said that, is forest bathing. Have you heard of it?
forest bathing.
Forest bathing.
I've never heard of it. Is that you have a bath in the forest?
Well, it's a Japanese term and a Japanese sort of technique whereby, because they live in such built-up cities in Japan, there's not a lot of room like a lot of Asian cities, they go into forests, and they have a few of those, and they just take in the forest. They take in all senses, the nature, and they go and bathe in the forest, but not literally strip off.
Right. So just soak it up.
Soak it up.
Right, okay.
And so I think the Japanese could say, I need a day off tomorrow because I'm going to go and forest bathe. How's that? Anyway, what's inspiring me? So many things are inspiring me, Raoul. So many. Should we start with people?
Start with people. Let's go for it.
So somebody who inspires me all the time is my beautiful son and my beautiful daughter, but my son sends me podcast after podcast. I need to take like 6 months off just to listen to podcasts. But of course, you'd never catch up, right? He sent me this podcast. He said, "Oh, Mum, it's not very woke." So straight away that piqued my attention and I thought I'm going to like this. And it was an amazing podcast that I'd love to share with our keepers. And it's by a guy called Alex Hormozi. So he's an American guy, he's an entrepreneur, founder, investor, author, public speaker and content creator. And he's got this podcast and he's up to 727 episodes or something. And it's called The Game. But the podcast Louis sent me was titled 13 Years of Brutally Honest Business Advice.
Wow.
You would love it,
love
Raoul.
it.
Dolan, you would love it.
I could do that next year, 20 years.
You could. Well, you need to be as brutal as Alex.
okay, it's brutal. Right, okay.
So for example, it goes for about an hour and a half, so you can just break it up, and most people don't have an hour and a half to listen to a podcast in its entirety. So I've listened to it over, a couple of times. But here's some of the topics he covers in 13 years of brutally honest business advice. You lack priorities, not information. Your team isn't as good as you think they are. Your standards are too low.
Oh, God.
Lots of rules means you have dumb people. If you want to get bigger, get better. You allow too many things to distract you. The best people cost more, but they make you so much more money or success. And the big obvious thing is the problem, not the 100 other things. That's just an example of some of the topics he covers, and he gives absolutely fantastic real life examples of what he has learned.
Right. So he goes into each one
Absolutely.
of those.
He's taken businesses from 100 million to 1 billion. So he knows what he's talking about.
Yep.
And he's a scruffy looking thing. It doesn't look anywhere near as polished as you. So your brutal business lessons are going to be polished as well as
Polished.
real.
What's it called again?
Alex Hormozi is the entrepreneur, and his podcast is called The Game.
Right.
And the episode that Louis sent me was called 13 Years of Brutally Honest Business Advice. And I think it was episode 727 or something.
We've got a way to go.
We have got quite a way to go.
And
well, if we go from 100 million to 1 billion, I'd be happy.
Yeah, true. We'll put that links in the show notes,
Yeah.
of course.
Yep.
Well, when I say we, that's the
Yeah.
royal we, because Keehlan will do that.
Indeed, indeed. Another person that rocks my world, and I've spoken about him before, Professor G, Prof G. Have you Scott Galloway?
Yes.
So
yes.
he is a professor of marketing at New York's University Stern Business School. He's an author, a podcaster, and also a very successful entrepreneur. He's just recently moved from New York to London and moved his family there. And he gives really great advice on business, on marketing, on the markets, and also on life.
Yeah.
And
he does a pivot podcast.
he does that
I do
with Cara
listen
Swisher.
to,
That's
yeah.
right. That's one. He also does, so he does a heap of things. His email newsletter, No Mercy, No Malice, is something I'm gagging for every week in my mailbox. It is awesome. And you can so you can read that, or you can listen to him via a number of podcast platforms. He's got 3 different podcasts: the Professor G Pod, that combines business insight and analysis with provocative life and career advice, and he's naughty. So he often says things that are not woke. But
Sounds like you.
His predictions are, he nails it every time when he talks about where he's seeing the future going with certain things.
Yeah.
Very rarely is he wrong, but he calls it out if he is wrong, and he'll then do an analysis on it. He also has another podcast called Prof G Markets, and that is fantastic. And that talks about all the big, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, what they're doing, and he gets under the bonnet of these things. So if you're interested in business, and particularly global markets, which very much influence our own market here, if you're an investor, or if you're somebody in business who's watching these large sort of tech organisations, and he talks about Elon Musk, he talks about many things. And then
Can I just say for our American viewers, under the bonnet is like under the hood.
Under the
reason I said
bonnet.
that, I was in America once and I said under the bonnet, and the Americans started laughing, and they thought it was a hat. Like, it's under the hood of a car.
Great point.
There you go, because we're very global and diverse.
I love that. Well, we've got listeners,
We've got a lot of keepers
in the US. So hey, US. And the other one he's got, Professor G, Prof G, or Scott Galloway, is Office Hours, and you can send in like a question to him about your business or about your career, and he'll answer it. And he reads out the. He doesn't read out the question. You record yourself asking the question, and he plays that. So you actually
I've listened to that too.
hear people. So it's really cool. So
we
he
could do
rocks
that.
my world. I
We
love
could do that for us. We've often
Scott Galloway.
said to keepers, if you've got a question,
Send it in,
and we will answer them.
Yeah,
we could. At one stage, we will do a whole podcast episode on
that. Would be good, because we do get a lot of
people have
questions.
asked us, so we do get
what
questions.
we do is we tend to use those to inform topics, so that people get more than just the answer to the question. So
Absolutely.
don't think we're ignoring people when they send in questions. We're turning them into topics, which if you've sent us one in, you would know that.
Yep.
So that's that. Now, so the next one, it's a bit more personal. So my parents inspire me.
I should hope so. You tell them. You tell us why, and then I'll tell you what I saw this morning coming up to your place.
I hope the ankle bracelets were on. Okay, so mum and dad lost their beautiful son last December. Yep, my brother, and there's just the two of us. So, and I'm just so proud of how they show up. I mean, they grieve. I mean, they're bereft. There's no doubt about it. You don't expect to lose a child, right?
No,
nobody does. You shouldn't. You're exactly right. It's wrong. Yet they just keep going. They're so resilient. They laugh. They're leaning in. They're going out. They've just booked a cruise. They're here with me for a month, pottering around, looking after some friends, dogs. I think people who show tremendous courage and resilience are inspiring.
Yeah.
And we know a few of them.
Yeah. I
I
spoke about in my episode of what inspires me is people that go through grief.
Yeah.
And are resilient and choose your attitude. Well, your parent, I haven't actually met your parents, except I feel like I know them because you put a lot of Instagram posts on them, mainly about them working at your house, which
free labour.
I'm about to call Department of Human Services about. They seem like they've always embraced life.
Yeah.
Do you think that's even more so since the passing of your brother?
Yeah, interesting you should say that. I think it's interesting. It makes me, because I'm obviously a peer of my brother, there was only 21 months difference, really think about mortality a lot more. Mum and dad are a lot older, so whilst I think that they are also more aware of mortality, I think they're questioning a lot of the why. Why him before them? Now, they know why. He was very sick. He had a disease, melanoma. But I don't think they were questioning mortality like I do because of my age and getting older, and I'm really aware of that, so embrace every day. Whereas for them, it's how do we get through every day?
Yeah.
And I think there will be probably some days where they wish the days would go a bit faster.
Right.
which is a bit of a horror thing. But then on other days when they're with us and they've got things that are going on, and there's a lot to look forward to. There's a new grandchild coming. You know, my brother's going to be having a grandchild. There's weddings coming. You know, there's lots of family celebrations. There's, as I said, a great cruise they're going on with their friends and going to new countries they haven't been before. So there's a lot to look forward to. And I read a great thing the other day, particularly for anyone who might be grieving. You lose the physical relationship with somebody when they die, but you never lose the memory relationship.
Yes.
And I thought that's really good. And Mum and Dad talk about that. He's with us all the time.
Yeah.
And I think
you
that's
talk
a great
about
way to
him
go.
and
yeah.
they talk about him.
And I chat away to him all the time.
Yeah.
And I can hear exactly what he's saying back to me.
And so when I rolled up to your place this morning, I'm driving.
I knew this was coming.
Jack lives on a big country property on a road, so it's 100 kilometres. Cars are flying past the road, and there's just a row because it's so big of black fencing. And I know your parents are staying with you at the moment, and I drive by and I see this elderly couple bent over painting.
You should be an author.
Your fence. Like, I was like, oh my God.
I love it.
Seriously, when I get to meet them straight after this podcast episode, I'm going to secretly take them aside and go,
have a word.
If you want.
Blink if you need to escape.
It's like, yes, exactly. If you touch your nose 3 times, I will call
come
the
and
police.
save you. Oh, you're a shocker, Raoul Dorland. They're excited to meet you. We'll give them lunch. Final thing that's inspiring me.
You give them lunch. Good
I'll
on
give
you.
them lunch. And not too much, but they'll get a little bit of lunch. I said 4 people: Alex Hormozy, Scott Galloway or Prof G. Mum and Dad are inspiring me. Progressives.
Right.
Okay, so I've got a bit of an American bend on this today.
Progressives. Is it like early adapters or something different?
Yeah, it is, but progressives in the US particularly.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to conservatives, right? So listen to this. Since Trump won the White House in 2016, 32 million young people have become eligible to vote and 20 million elderly voters have died.
Right.
That's a swing as much as 52 million voters. These younger citizens vote in greater numbers than previous younger generations, and they show no signs of becoming more conservative as they age. They're calling this November election the Gen Zoom or Z-Oom election. Isn't that clever?
That is clever.
But that gives me huge hope. That inspires me. I mean, the US is the free world or whatever they call it, and has such an impact on us and the way they behave and some of their decisions in the past of who they've chosen as their leader, rightly or wrongly. And I just think there's a real swing now, and that really inspires me and excites me.
It's going to be a fascinating thing to watch over the next few
I mean,
months.
you go to the US a lot. You were just there. I mean, you've been there twice in the last 2 minutes.
I was in Arizona.
How's
and
that?
That's a swing state. Very close swing state.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the vibe when you were there?
I just thought I shouldn't talk about politics.
What, when you're there or now or both?
When I was there.
Yeah.
When I was there.
Yep. No, best to keep your views personal.
Yeah, it seems quite divisive.
Yep.
Speaking about politics in America, where it's not as divisive
as
here.
here.
Like
No.
we would like, you know what? I would have no idea who you vote for.
No,
like I would
interesting.
probably have an idea,
yeah.
but you could be friends with someone for 20 years and you don't know who they vote
No.
for. I think in America it's
no,
sort
you
of
do
very
know.
obvious.
Yeah.
And people tell you, and
Yeah.
so I just decided that
Best not to.
probably best
Not to mention
do
your-
it.
your
And it's funny, I
opinion.
have 2 suits. Like I have 2 bold colour suits.
a red
and one's red
and
and,
a
one's
blue.
blue.
No, that's
it's
so
just
funny.
like, oh my God, maybe I should mix it up and wear red pants and blue. And it was like,
Well, that's funny you say that. Yesterday we were painting the fences. I was helping my elderly parents, and all the post and rail fences are black. And Dad said, "Have you thought about painting your new front gates white?" I said, "So black fences and a white gate. Do you know what that would mean here in Victoria?" And he looked at me. He's from
Collingwood?
Perth. "I'm a Collingwood supporter." I said, "And I will not ever be accused of being a Collingwood supporter."
excuse me, do you know I'm a Collingwood supporter?
Oh, well, look at what you're wearing. Sort of hinted to that, actually. Magpie. All right, health and well-being. Shall I
Yes.
tell you my latest hack? You might be interested in this.
Okay, go for it.
I've never been able to sleep all my life. Yeah, so I can go to bed really late, wake
That's
up
because
really, really early.
your mind is pumping like
just
ridiculous amounts of.
Goes like anything.
Okay, anyway, not very healthy.
I
but
know. Well, Maddie and Lewis can tell me I'll be dead in a minute. So anyway, hold on to these moments, right?
Yes.
But I've been reading about Elle MacPherson's brand Well, which is elixirs and powders and all these organic, natural things, fair trade products. And there was one called the Evening Elixir, and it's a chocolate hot drink. Yeah, so a hot chocolate drink, I should say. So you mix it with some water, have it, and it helps you sleep. It also has all this collagen in it, so I'm going to look 12 when you see me next.
I wondered why you I
so
thought
good.
you'd had a few little Botox injections.
I have not.
You look like about 27.
Oh, my goodness, Elle, it's working. And it's got 13 calories per serve, and I've been having a hot chocolate, this Evening Elixir, each night. It does two things. One, I don't want anything sweet because it's
I was going to say, does it
sweet.
contain a lot of sugar?
No
or
sugar, or very little sugar.
Oh, okay.
And you just mix it with water. I just put a dash of milk with it, but otherwise it's all water, so it's very low in calories. But it's got all this magnesium in it.
Oh, so magnesium is very good. I
Can't get my eyes open past 9:45.
I got onto magnesium supplements a couple of years ago.
Brilliant.
To help all, as we get a little bit older.
Correct.
All the aches and pains and joints
Yeah. But if you can't sleep, or you want to boost your collagen in your skin, or you don't want to eat chocolate at night but you want something sweet.
It sounds like tick, tick, tick.
It's a bloody good. We're not sponsored by Well or Elle, but maybe we should be.
I was going to say.
Oh, look, if Elle saw us, she'd say, well, clearly we're related, surely.
Clearly.
Only our mothers could tell us
Elle.
apart.
Elle.
So-
Elle. It's like Ral.
Ral and Elle.
Elle.
Well, there you are. Not only am I impressed with this product and it's on subscription, okay, so I bought it on a subscription because I want to keep taking it.
Yep.
I get an email from them the other day saying, just to let you know, your next order will be on its way. If you have changed your mind or if you would like to update or change your order before your payment is processed, please let us know. I was really impressed with that.
That's impressive, as opposed to just putting it through.
As a subscription, there are plenty that just keep recurring, right? So I thought that was great. So shout out to the Evening Elixir from Well. I love that. Interval, I had to say it, Louis' app. I'm back
Louis'
running.
app, yeah.
It's so good, honestly. So I stopped running. I was running I went from zero, no running, to 5Ks doing his plan. I've stopped over winter, but it's now spring. It's warm. I've started again. I'm back out there. And I haven't run for a couple of months, maybe more, 3 months. And I open up the app and it says, Jac, we've missed you. Shit, they know. But do you want to continue where you were or do you want to start again? And I put in, I have to start again. I don't think I can run. I know I can't run 5Ks starting today. And straight away, I've just had to push in a few things. This new program has come right up. And it's free for 7 days for anyone who wants to give it a crack because honestly, once you get into the habit, and you know this, you're a runner.
Yeah.
Have you been running?
It is. I've been running since, I think I said last time, I've had a bit of a rib injury because of coughing so much. So I stopped running for a while and over winter, it's a bit harder. But yes, I've been certainly getting back into it. It's so much, it's just one of those things, you know it's good for you. You enjoy it. You just got to get out there and do it.
You so do. You so do. And my other thing that really brings me inspiration is spring, and it's spring right now at the farm.
It is spring.
And did you notice the early cheer here?
Well, I did notice it. I didn't know it was called
smell
early
it?
cheer. And the reason I noticed it because I went and visited my mum the other day and she's got a whole bunch of
Oh,
those
how beautiful.
plants. And I said, oh, Mum, you should cut them and bring them inside. But she finds the smell overpowering.
It's pretty intense, the smell.
But I took some and I put it in. I put it in the bathroom. So when
See
you
mine in the bathroom?
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
see yours in the bathroom.
Like you, I just love and it says to me spring. It says to me new things happening.
What are they called?
Early cheer, and it's
Early
spelled
cheer.
EARLI. It's a German word, cheer, CHEER. I buy them from our local shop here, but I just love them. Absolutely love them. I love the smell of them, and I love spring. That inspires me.
Yeah, I love it. Spring is just
Baby lambs.
Does everyone love spring?
Surely they do.
Surely.
We're done with winter now.
Well, I guess it depends where you live and how
that is
harsh your
true.
winters
That is true.
are. But
that is true.
it's always good to have some nice sunny days.
It is. So that's my people in health and wellbeing inspiration. Did you get something from that?
I did. I was inspired. Now, I know we said we're going to cover 4 things, and so the other 2 things we're going to cover are pop culture and work.
Yeah.
And I think I said to you before we started recording, I reckon this might go over 2 episodes. And you go, oh, no,
be
it
quick.
won't. I'll be quick. I'll just go through them. And I went, yeah, right. So I'm right. You're wrong. As predicted, we've got so much stuff we want to cover, and let's not rush it.
All right.
I reckon
Keep them wanting more, you think?
keeping them real and keeping them wanting more. So
Right.
I think we wrap this episode right there.
Short, sharp and sweet.
Then so this has almost become part one. What
I love it.
inspires Jac part one? Because I know you've got a couple of
I
things
do.
under pop culture and work, and I don't think we should rush them.
There's a lot under pop culture and work, and there's some really good stuff. So hold on, keepers. Hold the thought.
Yeah,
We'll be
hold the
back.
thought. We'll be back. So if you were inspired by this episode and you like what you saw, then certainly tune in next week for part two. But we would love a rating. Now, if I'm going to actually just spend a little time on this because I was speaking to a few friends last week and they said something. I said, well, you've given us a rating. And they looked sheepish and they go, I sort of don't know how to.
It's not
and it is
easy.
not intuitive.
It's
I can
not
guarantee you
easy.
it's not intuitive.
No.
So what we're going to do, especially on Spotify, it's not intuitive. So Spotify, if you listen on Spotify, you've got to go to the show. You've got to go to the show, and up the top, it's I think about the show, and you click on that, and then you can rate the show. You get into that and rate the show.
Spoiler alert, you actually have to listen.
You do have to
before you
listen
can rate. So
to
like
Spotify.
well-meaning family, say to me, "Oh, I'll rate it, dear." And then I say, "Well, you actually have to listen."
Yeah, you have to listen. I think you got to listen. I don't know. You've got to listen to some part of it anyway.
I'm not sure you have to listen to all.
And then you do that, and then
And can we not stop there? Look, if you're getting something from Keeping It Real, please share it with others. You know, it's so easy to share a podcast or tell somebody about it and they can easily find us. We're everywhere.
yeah, we are. I think and Keehlan said we're sort of almost growing 10% each week,
Episode,
which
yeah.
is amazing. But
Thank you,
yeah,
keepers.
a rating and sharing it is the best way you can support us. Because if you support us, and if we will keep doing it, we will keep doing it as long as you're listening.
Keeping on.
You know, just on that, Billy Joel, I love Billy Joel, and I saw him in Madison Square Garden. And
That's inspiring.
Yeah, he started to do shows once a month in Madison Square Garden. I don't know, like years and years and years ago. And he just did one, and he said, if people keep buying tickets, I'll keep doing it. He ended up having the longest running consecutive shows at Madison Square Garden.
Because if people are buying tickets, it's clear they want to see him.
Up until like COVID when it stopped, and he's come back again.
good.
But we're like that. We're like Billy Joel. We'll keep going.
Same but different.
We'll keep going as long
All right,
as you
Uptown
keep listening.
Girl. I think we've got a wrap, and let's come back and I'll talk about pop culture and work and what inspires me on those two categories next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
You've been listening to another episode of Keeping It Real with Jac and Rahl. If you like what you've heard, don't forget to tell others about it and give a 5-star review. They may seem confident, but they really are sensitive 5-star needy souls. Yeah, right. Keeping It Real, created by Jac Phillips and Gabriel Dolan. Produced by Keehlan Ferrari-Brown. And this really real voiceover, spoken by Richard Phillips.